Hello everybody and welcome to a beautiful spring day in the Pacific Northwest. It is in the middle of May and I wanted to give you a little spring tour of our garden and just all the different happenings that have been going on here. If you're new to this channel, I'm Katarina. This is Sustainably Rooted and we talk things gardening but also zero waste and sustainable living in a way that's easy and accessible for you and your family. A little bit quick background if you're new, check out my other videos. The garden we've been living in, we have only been living here for about a little bit over a year, but our garden's new for about a year now. So everything that you see today was not there last year. This time last year in May, we were building the gardens. We're breaking ground on our first garden bed. And so it's really cool to see. I've got a lot of different things I want to show. I'm really excited and let's just dive right in. Let's give a quick overview of kind of like what the gardens look like, and then we'll dive into what's in the different beds. We are in the Pacific Northwest, like I said, south of Seattle, and we live in Zone 8B. So what looks like a mess over here is we have a compost bin back here. We have kind of two piles, one that's like we're not adding to it and we're just kind of rotating it, and then we have a pile that we're adding to it. It's a mess right now. We're trying to like figure out a better system, but for now that works. We have a little kid bed here. So we have 8 beds, you can kind of see, and all of these were added last year. We have cattle panels for trellises, which were added, and we have these kind of like beds in the front right here, which are for kind of flowers, like cut flower gardens. So here's another bed up in the front, and it kind of goes down this way. So this is kind of the main bed. It's south is this way, so everything gets full sun. It's very exposed to bunnies, but for the most part we don't get any kind of deer or other critters that come in. Sometimes we'll get squirrels in the fall time. We have our water collection system, and as you can see, it's pretty close to the garden, so we can easily just water as we go. I do have like an orchard area that I will not be showing today because it is a complete disaster. We cut down a tree, and so there's stuff, just debris everywhere, and so you can't even see any of the plants that we have going. Let's go over what's in the different beds. All right, like I said, I have 8 garden beds. I've got 4 on this side, I've got 3 right here, and I've got kind of another garden bed back here. I guess technically I have 9 garden beds if you count this section right here. I'm gonna go through each one. I'm gonna start over here on this side. So this first section here, these are all cut flowers all the way through here and all the way over. Things like cosmos and sunflowers, and then I've got some thyme right here. I'm gonna put lavender in as well. All right, so I've got this area, I've got lettuce, and then I've got green beans going across the trellis this way. Nasturtium that's popping up. I've got 2 pumpkins. These all right here that are popping up are cucumbers. I've got a few onions. These are zebra shallots or something like that. And then I've got a couple beets. They're like little teeny tiny, these green things popping up as well. I just laid, so you can see the root of one, but I just had broccoli rapini in here and I just cut it out and ate it. And so I just sowed more seeds in here. Little celeries that are just now popping up. I don't know if they'll make them to summertime, not sure. Broccoli, we'll get on the other side here in a second. This is cabbage. This one I did from seed. These ones I bought as starts. More cabbage. Onion sets, I do not know what kind of variety. These ones are ruby ball cabbages. This one's called Red Express, so maybe that's why it's bigger. Maybe it's a little faster. These are arugula. Arugula is more cold tolerant, so we'll see how well it survives with the heat. Over here, these red ones are red Swiss chard, and some broccoli starts as well. Looking at the leaves, I think these are rapini, potentially. And then these are, these are cauliflower, not broccoli. These ones are cauliflower. And more Swiss chard, that one looks a little sad. Mint, make sure you pot your mint. It will spread, so make sure you pot it. So on the other side of the same bed, I've got chamomile I just planted in here. My hope is that it's gonna help with the cucumbers, hopefully. So here are more cucumbers. These ones I started indoors. I don't know how well they really transplanted. And then I've got some kale right here. This one I forgot, this one's a different type of kale. This one's like dinosaur kale, Italian kale, whereas this one's more curly leaf kale. These ones are rainbow carrots starting to pop up, and I sowed another set of seeds here. So hopefully they'll pop up in the next couple days. More cauliflower. These cauliflowers have not gone anywhere. They've stayed this small and stunted because I keep getting bunnies eating them. All these are carrots. Looks like scarlet Nantes. A couple lettuce starting up, and then there's the other side. Same thing. This is a cauliflower right here. All right, next bed. Right on the other side here. Got a couple different things in here. I'll go to the back on there. But broccoli, same thing, has been eaten by bunnies. These are all beets, and some beets back here as well. I've got red ace beets, golden, this side over here is golden beets, and over here I've got early wonder beets. A lot of you might think that this is like burnt, but this is actually leaf miners. And how I know that is because you can see kind of like the little squiggly lines going on here. There's a great example right there, little squiggly lines. And they have kind of this poofy look to them. There's like a little pocket right there. I don't know how you can see that. There you go. So we need to remove those leaves. This is also broccoli that's been eaten by bunnies. I'm just gonna leave it in there, let it grow as long as I can, and eat the leaves. Volunteer tomato that I'm letting go. Spinach that has gone to seed. I'm letting it go to seed, and I'm gonna collect those seeds so that we can have more spinach. And then more, again, broccoli and tomatoes, volunteers. We'll see. These were a bunch of radishes. I just took them out. I had two different types. I had radish sparklers in here and radish French breakfast. These ones are radish French breakfast, and I just sowed more seeds. I've got cabbages and celeries. Going on to the other side, I've got lettuce back there, doing okay. Chives, you probably saw these chives in another garden as well, on the other garden. And then along this, I've got edamame, soybean, midwar giant. Anyway, those are all along this line, going all the way over. I've got a couple nasturtiums popping up, and then this is either cantaloupe or watermelon, not sure. And that one over there is definitely watermelon. I don't know if I'll get a nice melon, but there you go. Ideally, they will grow up and around the cattle panels. And then just a quick note, I've got these. This is new this year, but I use this to cover them during the cold, early February and March. And covered it with plastic, and that allowed me to do it. And I kept them here so I could cover them with some shade cloth. It looks like this. Here's my shade cloth. There you go. Definitely recommended to keep those plants from bolting. So we'll go on to this other bed. All right, so this bed looks really empty, but there's actually a lot of things going on, so we'll talk through it. I had peas growing all the way across this way. But bunnies kept getting them and eating them, so I cut the tops off and let the roots stay in. I've got parsley here that's been eaten by bunnies, broccolis that have been eaten by bunnies, and it actually looks like right now I've got cabbage worms going on. Sorry, I've got my cat and apparently birds and apparently the lawnmower next door. All the nature. Right here you can see the cabbage worm. Gonna remove him. Oh my gosh, cat. All right, so removed, best thing to do. All right, so what you do see in the bed is this will be a lot of corn, hopefully, all corn, and I've got 4 per square foot, and they're gonna be nice and tight together, so all that corn. I've got pumpkins that will run underneath it, so I've got one pumpkin over there. I've got nasturtiums right here, and I've got another pumpkin as well over here. I think these are jack-o'-lantern style pumpkins. They're kind of medium size. And then very hard to see, but I've got watermelon right there. And I did plant garbanzo beans across the cattle panels, but they have not popped up yet. And then that's chives over there in the corner. Right, so next to this bed, I've got another bed right here. It's really informal, but it kind of is what I consider. I consider all of this one bed. So I've got this rhododendron here that will be removed. I just gotta wait till it flowers, then I can move it. And again, I've got a rose bush here as well. It's climbing roses that I will need to find a better home long-term for it. But in this not bed, I've got corn and I've got some pumpkin. I have a pumpkin, just waiting for it to pop up. So I've got rhubarb, I've got blueberries. So rhubarb, blueberries, pink flowers or chives. Beautiful lupins. Some blueberries. I've got a rosemary back here in the corner, but he's very dead and is trying to grow back. All right, so this is my strawberry garden here with some herbs around the outside. Things like parsley. I've got things like rosemary. Goodness, cat. Sorry, she's a very needy cat. This is thyme, lots of weeds, Greek oregano, lots of strawberries, as you can see, starting to grow. A lot of greens have been eaten from the bunnies. Got sage over here as well, some pineapple sage on the other side, my favorite over there, some fennel and rosemary over here, and then this is oregano. This is Winterfest oregano. I thought it was a really unique smell. And then that big one right here is another type of oregano that's gone to seed. I'll just let it do its thing, help the pollinators, and I do have a basil in here. More strawberries that need to find a home. A lot of these strawberries are Juneberry. That's why there's so many blooms on it. They're not everbearing. Everbearing would mean that they go multiple times a year. And again, that's on just the other side of this. This is flowers all through here, including some lilies, peonies that haven't bloomed. I don't know if they will bloom. So that's this section. This is the other kind of face of the bed. So hopefully I'll have green beans and pumpkins and watermelons and squashes growing on all these cattle panels, and it'll be a nice view. So I'm excited to see what that will look like. So going through onto the other side, I've got this back bed, and in here I've got some radishes, I've got some purple cabbages, I've got, you will keep hearing my cat, follows me everywhere. And then I've got some red ace beets. This is a yellow zucchini, more cabbages, more parsley. And then I've got another another zucchini right here. It's green. I have no idea what this is. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on it. I don't know if it's parsnips. I had parsnips in here last year, so it could be, I don't know. Red ace beets. And then I've got some collards. And if you know about collards, you know that they should be way bigger this time of year. So I am really disappointed. Those starts were very stunted. So I will not be getting collards, but I'm just leaving them here because I have nothing that needs to go in here right now. So there you go. All right, so on the other bed, across the way, I've got potato galore over here. Lots of different potatoes. I've got 4 different varieties. This first variety is a purple one from last year. These are rosettes, just like they were ones from the grocery store that was going to growing, so I put them in. These are seed potatoes. I've got, I think, some kind of red potato here, and these ones are golden ones over there. More cabbages. These ones are called Fast Vantage. These ones are that red cabbage from on the other side. This is a rapini broccoli. And looks like I got a sad one over there. Mint, again, in pot. Make sure you have it in a pot. It's hard to see, but I've got parsnips, and I've got more little parsnips starting to pop up. Parsnips, that's, again, why I thought the other one was parsnips, potentially. And again, little parsnips, teeny tiny ones, just starting to pop up here. That's a weed. So, there you go. Along this fence line, ooh, I'm really excited, actually. This is a black bean, I believe, that I planted. Maybe, so I've got some kind of bean going over here. I thought maybe it was black beans, but looking at the seed, maybe it's pinto beans running across this way. Super hard to tell, but these ones are going to be green beans. I believe they are Blue Lake green beans, again running up and around the caterpillar. My little kid's garden, if you will, with the cat. And which leaves our two beds, which are very similar. So I've got a purple green bean called Velour. Sorry about the neighbor's mower. Going around this way, some marigolds, cilantro, and I've got some tomatoes. This one is a Roma tomato, San Marzanos, also San Marzano, but that one I started, this one I bought. I lost a San Marzano, they're in the center from the heat. And I've got some butternut squash here, and I do not know what kind of squash this is. I'm guessing it's a butternut squash, but I do not know. Those are marigolds. Then I've got a beefsteak, silts, there you go. A slicer tomato. And that's all that's in this bed right now that you can see. I do have some carrots in between that hopefully will grow underneath, and some lettuce that will grow hopefully underneath as well. I've got some chives and onions all the way on the other side that are just kind of look like grass, but they're there. And my last and final bed, I've got tomatillos, 2 of them. I've got basil down here. I got marigolds that are popping up. I've got parsley. This is sun sugar cherry tomatoes. I've got bell peppers with already a little bell peppers on it. Some onions behind the tomatillos. My favorite is a purple strawberry tomato. I'll show you if you haven't seen my Instagram, or if you haven't seen me from last year, then you will have a nice surprise, but check them out. And more green beans going up and around the cattle panel. That's basil. Same thing with this one. I've got in between each, right here, I've got like lettuces or carrots. That one is the early jalapeno. I started that one from seed indoors. Nasturtium as well going up and around. And there is a pumpkin also. So hopefully again, those will go up and around the cattle panel. So 2 last things before we end. I've got a strawberry pot planter going on. Lots of different strawberries on there. And then the other side, I've got more cut flowers. Something I forgot to mention on the other side is I do have some pumpkins growing in my cut flowers. On this side over here, I've got pumpkins growing within the cut flowers as well. And I actually do not know what these ones are because my kids planted them. But that one over there will be a Jack Be Little, I believe. And then I do have gourds planted. Same thing, lots of different ones. This is where my daughter planted, as you can see. And my son has a little planter box as well. He's 6 years old. He's got some squash or pumpkins, and then he's got lots of peas that are doing much better because the bunnies have not eaten them. So overall, so many cool things growing in the garden. Well, thank you so much for being a part of our garden tour. I really hope you found some different plants, varieties that you can maybe grow in your area, or try out some different ways to do that, and just kind of see really what it looks like at the beginning of the summertime, that beautiful, glorious gardens that you see on Instagram, where they start and how they become what they are. Follow me on Instagram, like, subscribe, do all the fun things. I look forward to hearing from you, and until next time, stay sustainable.